Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Caleb Likes Books. Today I have another video for you, this time doing something that I also did last year, which is talking about some book series that I am planning to read in 2026. Now that we're coming up on the end of the year here soon, I thought I would do this. I decided to go with fewer series than I did last year by a little bit. I think last year I picked out like 15 series, and I started maybe a handful out of those, and some of those are reappearing on this list too. Conqueror's Trilogy by Timothy Zahn. The Hunger Games. I want to do another series by Will White. Really want to get started on Legacy of the Force next year. Dark Tower by Stephen King. Lightbringer by Brent Weeks. Wings of Fire series.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
But I decided, I picked 5 series that I am definitely going to start next year, like for sure. And then 5 more that I want to do. Don't know if I will, but they are some other ones that I would like to start next year if I am able to. Most of these are ones that I can already start because I either, own the books or I can get them through my library. I think there's only one of these series that I will have to actually go out and get the books that I don't already own. But other than that, these are all series that I am, currently able to start, and are ones that I'm really looking forward to, and all of that kind of thing. These are all larger series, so nothing on here is like a trilogy or something. These are all like 4+ book series. And of course, this doesn't mean that I'm going to finish all of these series. In fact, I would imagine I won't finish any of them if I do start them next year, but I do want to at least start them. So I suppose first things first, we will start with the 5 series that I am definitely planning to do. So the first one to come to mind for me is Star Wars Legacy of the Force. This is the next major Star Wars series that I need to read. I believe I also had this one on the list last year alongside a couple other ones I'm going to talk about. This is the one series that I still need to get the books, because I am currently in the middle of the Darkness trilogy, which is a trilogy that takes place in between the New Jedi Order series and Legacy of the Force. So I want to read that trilogy, finish that trilogy, and then I will move on to Legacy of the Force. Super excited to start it though, because I loved New Jedi Order, so I'm kind of excited to check out the next big chapter in the Star Wars Legends timeline and all that stuff. So hopefully I can get my hands on those soon and start them sometime next year. The next one is probably currently the biggest series on the list, and one that I really, really want to read, and that is Sun Eater by Christopher Ruocchio. This has become a very popular sci-fi series on BookTube and just in the general sci-fi fantasy book community over the last couple of years. The final book comes out, I think, this November. And so this is one that I have been wanting to read all year, but I haven't got to it. But I will read it next year. In fact, myself as well as some of my friends, Alex, Jonathan, and Ryan, all of us are heavily considering making this one of our next buddy reads and reading through this series together. So, but whether we do that or not, I am going to read this series next year because I really, really want to get to it. And I've just heard nothing but amazing things, and I'm just very excited about it. I think out of all the ones on this list, this may be the one that I most want to read. So really, really want to get to that one. So that is definitely also one that I will be checking out next year, is the plan. Next up, I have Stephen King's The Dark Tower series. This is also one I think that was on my list last year, but I do already own the first 4 books of the series, so I still need to get the last few. But this is one that I'm holding off on a little bit, because I do have a few other Stephen King books I want to read first. So I would like to read it, and I would like to read The Stand, at least both of those, before I start The Dark Tower, which those are both really big books, but I am planning to hopefully read it towards the end of this year or early next year, and then I will want to do The Stand maybe sometime next spring, and then maybe start Dark Tower over the summer, potentially. But yeah, I really want to start the series. Stephen King has quickly become one of my all-time favorite authors. I've read 7 of his books so far, soon to be 8, and I have loved almost all of them. And this is like his big, weird fantasy series, and it just so much about it intrigues me, the way that it connects to a bunch of his other books, and just the things I've heard about the series just in itself sounds really interesting, so I really want to read that as well. So that is also in the plan for next year. The next one is a series that I've had the first couple books in for a little while now, and I just still haven't gotten to start it, and that is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. This is one that, like, I'm interested in it, but I mostly want to read it just because I know it's a very popular series, or at least it was back when it was coming out. And I just want to see what all the hype was about, and I want to read, this is a very big series in terms of modern fantasy, so I want to kind of see what's going on with it. And I do plan to check out other Sarah J. Maas stuff eventually as well. I will probably try A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I will probably try her Crescent City series as well. But this is, out of all of them, I think this is the one that might have the biggest chance of working for me. So I really want to read it, and I've heard that it does end up being really good. At least from some people, so hopefully I'll have a good time with that. And yeah, that is one that I've been curious to check out for a long time, and I just still haven't gotten around to. The last one that I have here in terms of the series that I am definitely planning to read next year, at least start, is The Expanse by James S.A. Corey. I believe this one was also on my list last year, we'll see if I get to these. But this is another one that I definitely want to start because I have had the first 3 books, I think, for over a year now, and I really want to read these. This is a really big sci-fi series that was super popular, and I just finished up, I think, a couple years ago, and is definitely, again, one of the more popular modern sci-fi series. And I really want to read it. It sounds really interesting. And, again, kind of similar to Sarah J. Maas. This is one of those series that's like, I just want to read it just to see what the hype's about and hopefully enjoy it as well. So this is one I don't know a huge amount about, like in terms of what it's about, but it's one that I'm really interested in. Then I've got 5 series that I am hopeful that I will begin, but I don't know for sure if I will. So these are ones that are not as much of a priority, but if I can get around to them, then I would love to. So the first one of those is The Wars of Light and Shadow by Janny Wurts. This is a series that I had never heard of until this year. And I heard about it because several other channels that I follow, like Talking Story and BellTube and Philip Chase, all of them have been reading this series recently, and all have talked about it so much and how amazing it is. And that is like exclusively the reason why I want to read this series. I know very little about it, but I know that it is one that a lot of people love, and it's getting very popular on BookTube lately. And it's one that, like, all of those channels have just talking about how amazing it is, and I just want to kind of see what's going on there, because if they're talking about it and all of them love it, then I'm hoping that I might too. So that is another big one that is, one that I don't know if I'll start, but I would really like to. Another series that I am hoping that I might be able to start is The Demon Cycle by Peter V. Brett. This is another one that I don't know a huge amount about, but what I've heard about it sounds really interesting to me. I've heard it's like a very dark fantasy series, and to me that just sounds interesting. And just something about these books has always kind of caught my attention. Like I said, I don't know a huge amount about them, but something about them just keeps me like wanting to read it. So don't have a whole lot to say about this one, but this is another one that I am strongly considering checking out. It seems like it could be up my alley. Maybe I would enjoy it. Very dark fantasy, maybe a little bit of horror in there potentially. I'm not entirely sure. But, one that I am interested in anyway. The next one is from an author that does have another really popular series, but this is actually his less popular series, which is the Dread Empire series by Glenn Cook. This is the author that wrote the Black Company series, which is a kind of a fan favorite on BookTube and in the fantasy space. But this is actually a different series that he wrote that I didn't even really know anything about. I didn't even really know it existed. I just knew him for Black Company. But when I was looking on Hoopla from my library, seeing what books that they had, and I looked up Glenn Cook. They don't have any of his Black Company books, at least through my library, but they do have all of his Dread Empire books. And so this is one that I'm kind of interested in and seems kind of cool. It's I think an older series from like the 80s or 90s, so I think it'd be fun to read. I don't know if I'll get to it again, but you know, it's one that I would like to try and check out. The next one that I have to talk about is actually one that would technically be a reread, and that's because I read this series way back in middle school, and that is The Last Dragon Chronicles by Chris DeLacy. This is a middle grade fantasy series, and I don't remember that much about it, which is the main reason why I want to revisit it, because I know I loved it as a kid. Like, this was one of those series that anytime our library got a new book in the series, I would just immediately go and check it out. One of my teachers, I forget which book it was, it might have been Icefire. That one, when she was able to get that book for her classroom, she let me read it first, and she told me like immediately when she got it, like, I've got this, I know you love this series, so she let me read it right away. So this was a series I was super into as a kid, but I don't really remember it. So I don't think I ever finished it either. I think I only read maybe the first 4 books, if I had to guess. I think it's 7 books total. So this is one that I do want to revisit and check out, and hopefully, you know, relive a little bit of that childhood memory a little bit, and hopefully have a good time with it now as an adult. The last series that I have to talk about here is kind of a Lovecraftian Cthulhu mythos series, which is the Titus Crow series by Brian Lumley. Brian Lumley is, anytime I look into like non-Lovecraft authors who wrote within the Cthulhu mythos, who is the one that I should check out, Brian Lumley is always very high on that list. One that gets recommended a lot of people love his stuff. And Titus Crow, I think, is one of his biggest series. He also wrote the Necroscope series, which I believe is like a vampire series, which I do want to read that as well sometime, but this is like his Cthulhu Mythos series. And this is one that I've been curious to check out for a long time, because I love the Cthulhu Mythos, and I am interested in reading authors who have written in it that are not H.P. Lovecraft, now that I have read most of his stuff. So this is also one that I'm really interested in reading, and again, I don't know if I'll get to it, but if I can, then that would be great. So that is pretty much all I got for you. Hopefully I can get to at least some of these and do a little bit better than I did with the series that I planned on checking out in last year's video that I did on this topic. But we shall see. There are several of these anyway that I am definitely planning to get to. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. So if you have read any of these series before, let me know in the comments what you thought of them, if you liked them or didn't, if there's any of these that you want to read next year, or if there are any other series that are on your radar that I didn't mention here but you would like to read sometime in 2026, let me know down in the comments. So that's pretty much it for this one, so thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.